demon. You are my
Down to size!
He's not exactly your average kid.
Ne Zha!
Mom! I will change my destiny!
A child born from fire, feared by gods and haunted by demons, a broken bar yet destined to challenge fate itself. Ne Zha is no ordinary hero, he's a storm, a rebellion, a legend reborn. But in 2025, his story takes a darker, more explosive turn than ever before. Are you ready to witness the rise of the most unstoppable warrior of Chinese mythology? Ne Zha 2, Chinese. A ring superscript a ring apostrophe a diaresis superscript 1 ec sundala yani, superscript 1 ash micro middle dot pinion, n a tilde copyright z h a diaresis zam a tilde cube t a tilde cube deng la o z, also known as a ring superscript a ring apostrophe 2 and a tilde copyright z h a diaresis a tilde diaresis r, is a 2025 Chinese animated fantasy action-adventure film written and directed by Jiazi, the direct sequel to Ne Zha, 2019. It is based on the Chinese mythological character and Su Zonglin's 16th century novel Investiture of the Gods, Fangshan Yani. The film takes up the story of Chinese mythological character Ne Zha and his friend Ao Bing. After a sacrifice, only Ne Zha's body can be recreated. Although he carries Ao Bing's spirit within, Ne Zha calls on this spirit in his fight against wicked Master Shen. Ne Zha 2 was released in theaters across China on January 29, 2025, coinciding with the first day of the Chinese New Year. Like its predecessor, the film received highly positive reviews from critics, and achieved even greater commercial success at a gross of more than $2.2 billion worldwide against a production budget of $80 million. Ne Zha 2 broke numerous box office records inside and outside China, including becoming the highest-grossing film in a single box office territory, the highest-grossing animated film, the highest-grossing non-English language film and the first animated film in history to cross the $2 billion mark, as well as being the highest-selling animated film based on ticket sales. It also ranks as the highest-grossing film of 2025 and the fifth highest-grossing film of all time. The film's English dub was released in the United States on August 22, 2025 by A24, with Michelle Yeoh playing Lady Yin, leading a new cast of voice actors including Crystal Lee, Griffin Puetu, Ailsla, Vincent Rodriguez III, Riggs, and William Ute among others. After Ne Zha and Ao Bing are struck by godly lightning together, their bodies are destroyed. To prevent their souls from dying, Master Tai Zenren exhausts his 7-colored sacred lotus to regenerate their physical bodies, though they are still fragile. Ao Bing's father, Ao Guang, the Dragon King of the East Sea, believing his son is dead, orders Master Shen Gongbao to attack Chentang Pass with the demons imprisoned under his palace and the other 3 Dragon Kings of the 4 Seas. Ao Bing defends Chentang Pass, but his new body disintegrates due to the effort exerted. Ao Guang makes a ceasefire deal. Ao Bing and Ne Zha will share Ne Zha's body for 7 days, complete 3 trials to become Xian, immortal, and win a potion that can restore the sacred lotus and create a new body for Ao Bing, upon which Ao Guang's forces will retreat. The trials are set by immortal Wu Lian, leader of the Heavenly Chan sect. During the trials, candidates complete missions while supervised by Wu Lian's disciples. These missions are normally performed by the sect's demon hunters. Ne Zha takes sleeping pills to hide his demon nature during the trials, allowing Ao Bing to fully control his body temporarily. Together, Ne Zha and Ao Bing complete the first 2 trials, defeating a village of marmot demons and a master who trains demons to prepare for the Xian trials, respectively. In the meantime, Ao Guang tasks Shen Gongbao with guarding the Chentang Pass. Gongbao is temporarily reunited with his younger brother, Shen Xiaobao. Xiaobao then witnesses Ne Zha's second trial, where the master, Shen Zhengdao, who is the Shen family's patriarch, is violently captured by the sect's forces. He returns to tell Gongbao of the sect's siege and plunder of their family's village before dying from his injuries. Before Ne Zha sets off on his 3rd trial, he is informed that Chentang Pass was destroyed. Enraged, Ne Zha completes the 3rd trial without Ao Bing's help, defeating a stone monster, Shi Ji, becoming Xian and obtaining the potion. While Tai restores the sacred lotus with the potion and regenerates Ao Bing's body, Ne Zha joins Wu Liang's forces to trap the dragons in Wu Liang's giant cauldron, planning to forge the dragons and demons into elixirs. However, the other 3 Dragon Kings turn against Ao Guang by collaborating with Wu Liang to escape the cauldron. Li Jing and Lady Yin arrive at the cauldron unharmed with Ao Bing and Tai to explain the truth. They reveal that Wu Liang ordered the destruction of Chentang Pass, not the dragons. In a flashback, Shen deduces the Dragon King's betrayal and involvement in the massacre. The Chan sect wanted to frame Ao Guang for the attack to destroy the dragons and ensure the heavenly sect's domination. Ne Zha's parents escaped the destruction as Shen took a last stand to defend the city. The 2 parties battle until Wu Liang casts Ne Zha's group into the cauldron. As the heat of the cauldron rises, the prisoners are transformed into elixirs, including Lady Yin. A grieving Ne Zha absorbs the cauldron's samadhi fire, solidifying his new body, and thus is reborn. Alongside the dragons and demons, Ne Zha and Ao Bing break the cauldron and force the heavenly armies to retreat. In the aftermath, Ao Guang leads the remaining dragons into hiding somewhere in the sea, with the exception of Ao Bing, who stays behind to help Ne Zha expose Wu Liang's nature. In a mid-credits scene, Wu Liang heads to a secret prison to negotiate with the captive Shen Gongbao and Shen's father Zhangdao, hoping to recruit them, only to be trapped after cursing a warden to sleep for mocking his injuries. Ne Zha's older Xian brothers, Jinza and Muzza, are summoned to meet with Wu Liang, but cannot find him when they arrive. Ne Zha 2, 2025, casting, a comprehensive analysis of voice acting excellence and animation's biggest hit introduction. The release of Ne Zha 2 in 2025 marked a monumental achievement in animated cinema, not only breaking box office records but also setting new standards for voice acting in both Chinese and international markets. The film grossed $2.08 billion globally, most of the gross coming from China alone, becoming the highest-grossing animated film of all time and the first-ever animated film to gross $2 billion. This unprecedented success can be attributed to many factors, but perhaps none more crucial than the exceptional casting choices that brought life to the beloved characters of Chinese mythology. Ne Zha 2, Chinese, A ring superscript A ring apostrophe A diaresis superscript 1 EC Sundala Yan E, superscript 1 Ash micro middle dot pinyin, N A tilde copyright Z H A diaresis Zam A tilde cube T A tilde cube Deng La O Z also known as A ring superscript A ring apostrophe 2 and A tilde copyright Z H A diaresis A tilde diaresis R, is a 2025 Chinese animated fantasy action-adventure film written and directed by Jiazi, building upon the massive success of its 2019 predecessor. The sequel faced enormous expectations from audiences worldwide, making the casting decisions even more critical to the film's ultimate success. The casting of Ne Zha 2 represents a fascinating study in cultural bridge building, featuring both the return of beloved original Chinese voice actors and the addition of internationally recognized talent for the English-language version. In July 2025, it was announced that the film's English dub would be released in theaters on August 22, with A24 distributing, and Michelle Yeoh joining the voice cast. This comprehensive analysis will explore every aspect of the film's casting, from the returning Chinese voice actors who originated these iconic roles to the carefully selected English-language cast that brought these characters to international audiences. We'll examine the artistic choices, cultural considerations, and technical excellence that made this casting one of the most successful in animation history. The legacy of the original cast returning to beloved roles. The decision to bring back the core cast from the 2019 original Ne Zha was both a strategic and artistic triumph. Yanting Lü 1/4 a middle. Ne Zha returned to voice the titular character, bringing with him the emotional depth and vocal maturity that made the original film such a phenomenon. Having originated the role in 2019, Lü 1/4's understanding of Ne Zha's character arc and emotional journey provided invaluable continuity between the films. Lü 1/4 Yanting's portrayal of Ne Zha in the original film established him as one of China's premier voice actors for animated characters. His ability to convey the complex emotional range required for a character who embodies both childlike wonder and ancient wisdom made him irreplaceable for the sequel. The casting directors recognized that replacing such an integral voice would risk alienating the massive fan base that had connected so deeply with his interpretation. Joseph A. Teenager Ne Zha also returned, showcasing his versatility by voicing the older version of the character. This casting choice reflected the film's narrative structure, which explores Ne Zha at different stages of his mythological journey. Joseph's ability to maintain character consistency while adapting his vocal performance to reflect the character's growth demonstrates the sophisticated approach to voice acting that characterized the entire production. Mohan A. Dao Bing reprised his role as Ao Bing, Ne Zha's complex friend and rival. Han's performance in the original film was particularly praised for its emotional nuance, capturing the internal conflict of a character torn between duty and friendship. His return ensured that the central relationships between Ne Zha and Ao Bing would maintain the emotional authenticity that made their dynamic so compelling. The importance of vocal continuity. The decision to maintain the core cast speaks to a deeper understanding of how voice acting functions in animated storytelling. Unlike live-action sequels, where physical appearance provides visual continuity, animated sequels rely entirely on vocal performance to maintain character consistency. The returning cast members had already established the definitive vocal interpretations of these characters, making their return essential for narrative coherence. Chen Hao A. Li Jing, voice, returned as Li Jing, as his father, bringing gravitas and paternal complexity to the role. Chen's portrayal of the conflicted father figure, yet torn between love for his son and fear of his power, required subtle vocal work that conveyed internal struggle without sacrificing the character's authority. His return ensured that the family dynamics central to the story would maintain their emotional resonance. Lü Lady Yin, voice, reprised her role as Lady Yin, Nessa's mother, providing the maternal warmth and strength that grounds the character's emotional journey. Lü's vocal performance captures both the fierce protectiveness of a mother and the wisdom of someone who understands her son's destiny, creating a complex character who serves as both comfort and guide. Supporting cast excellence: the ensemble that built a world. Zhang Jiaming Master Tai, voice, returned as Master Tai, the immortal who serves as Ne Zha's mentor and guide. Zhang's portrayal balanced the character's mystical wisdom with moments of humor and humanity, preventing the mentor figure from becoming either too aloof or too familiar. His vocal performance helped establish the film's tonal balance between epic mythology and intimate character development. Yang Wei Shen Gongbao, voice, reprised the role of Shen Gongbao, one of the film's primary antagonists. Yang's vocal work created a character who was simultaneously threatening and charismatic, embodying the seductive nature of power and corruption. His return ensured that the sequel's conflicts would maintain the personal stakes that made the original so engaging. Wang Dishan Wu Liang joined the cast as a new character, bringing his considerable experience in both live-action and voice acting to the project. Wang's addition represented the film's commitment to expanding its mythological world while maintaining the quality that made the original successful. The supporting cast's return demonstrates the production team's understanding that great animated films are built on ensemble excellence rather than individual star power. Each voice actor contributed to creating a lived-in world where every character, regardless of screen time, felt fully realized and integral to the story. New additions to the Chinese cast. While maintaining continuity with returning actors, the sequel also introduced new characters that required fresh vocal talent. The casting directors approached these new additions with the same care and consideration that characterized the original selections, ensuring that new voices would complement rather than overshadow the established ensemble. The integration of new characters into an established vocal ecosystem presents unique challenges. New voice actors must match the established tonal quality and performance style while bringing their own interpretations to fresh characters. The success of those new additions speaks to both the skill of the individual performers and the guidance of the voice directors who help integrate them into the existing cast dynamic. The English-language casting revolution. A24's strategic approach and English-language version of the record-breaking Chinese animated film Ne Zha 2 is coming to theaters this summer from A24 and CMC Pictures, with Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the voice cast. The involvement of A24, known for their artistic integrity and careful curation of international films, immediately signaled that this would not be a standard dubbing project but a carefully crafted localization that respected the source material while making it accessible to English-speaking audiences. A24's approach to the English-language version reflected their understanding that successful animated dubs require more than simple translation. They require a cultural translation. The distributor's track record with international films and their commitment to artistic excellence made them the ideal partner for bringing Ne Zha 2 to global audiences. Michelle Yeoh, a casting masterstroke. The addition of Michelle Yeoh to the English voice cast represents one of the most strategically brilliant casting decisions in recent animation history. Yeoh's involvement brought several layers of value to the project: cultural authenticity. As a Malaysian Chinese actress with deep understanding of both Eastern and Western entertainment markets, Yeoh provided cultural authenticity that helped bridge the gap between the film's Chinese origins and its international audience. Her presence signaled that this was not a Western adaptation of Chinese material, but a genuine cross-cultural collaboration. Star power. Yeoh's Academy Award win and her status as one of cinema's most respected actresses brought significant attention to the English-language version. Her involvement attracted media coverage and audience interest that might not have existed for a standard animated dub. Vocal excellence. Beyond her star status, Yeoh's voice acting skills demonstrated in various projects throughout her career ensured that her performance would serve the story rather than distract from it. Her ability to convey both strength and vulnerability made her perfect for the mythological material. International recognition. Ya's global recognition helped position Ne Zha 2 as a serious cinematic event rather than merely another animated import. Her involvement elevated the film's profile in international markets and helped it reach audiences beyond traditional animation fans. The supporting English cast Crystal Lee A. Crystal Lee A. Ne Zha English version, voice, took on the challenging task of voicing the titular character in English. Lee's casting represented a commitment to finding a voice that could capture the complexity of Ne Zha while remaining authentic to English-speaking audiences. Her performance required balancing the character's childlike aspects with his divine nature, a challenge that required considerable vocal skill and emotional range. Grace Liu A. Krana English version, voice, joined the English cast as Krana, bringing her own interpretation to this new character while ensuring consistency with the film's established tone and style. Liu's casting demonstrated the production's commitment to finding voices that complemented rather than competed with each other. Chila 1/4 A. Lady Yan maintained her role across both versions, creating an interesting bridge between the Chinese and English versions. This decision reflected the global nature of the production and the recognition that some performances transcend language barriers. Candy Milo A. Lady Shi Ji brought her extensive voice acting experience to the English version. Milo's career in animation, spanning decades and including work on numerous acclaimed projects, provided the English version with a veteran presence who understood the technical and artistic demands of voice acting for animation. Technical excellence in English casting. Eric Bauza A. Trat second in command A. Sheldo, left right, exemplified the technical excellence that characterized the English casting. Bauza, known for his work voicing multiple characters in various animated projects, brought versatility and skill that allowed him to create distinct voices for different characters within the same production. His ability to differentiate characters vocally while maintaining consistency within the film's world demonstrated the high standards maintained throughout the English casting process. Aidan A. Shen Ziabao English version, voice, as Aidan James An, represented the new generation of voice actors who understand both the technical demands of the craft and the cultural sensitivity required for international adaptations. An's performance contributed to the English version's success in capturing the spirit of the original while making it accessible to English-speaking audiences. Fred Tatashia joined the English cast, bringing his reputation as one of the industry's most reliable and versatile voice actors. Tatashia extensive experience in animation and video games provided the English version with a performer who understood how to serve the story while bringing his own interpretive skills to the material. Cultural considerations and casting. Bridging Eastern and Western traditions. The casting of Ne Zha 2 required navigating complex cultural considerations that go far beyond simple language translation. The characters in this film are drawn from Chinese mythology and represent cultural concepts that don't always have direct Western equivalents. The casting directors faced the challenge of finding voices that could convey these cultural nuances while remaining accessible to international audiences. The mythological nature of the source material presented unique challenges for both Chinese and English voice casts. Characters like Ne Zha and Dao Bing embody concepts from Chinese philosophy and religious tradition that require careful handling to maintain cultural authenticity while ensuring accessibility. The success of both versions demonstrates sophisticated understanding of how voice acting can bridge cultural gaps without sacrificing cultural integrity. Respecting source material. The approach to casting reflected deep respect for the source material and its cultural origins. Rather than attempting to westernize characters or concepts, the casting choices maintain the essential Chinese nature of the characters while finding ways to make them comprehensible to global audiences. This balance required casting directors who understood both cultures and voice actors who could navigate cultural complexity in their performances. The decision to maintain certain Chinese actors in both versions, alongside the careful selection of English-speaking actors who understood the cultural weight of the material, demonstrates a sophisticated approach to international adaptation. This method respected the film's origins while expanding its reach, creating a model for how animated films can successfully cross cultural boundaries. The art of voice direction collaborative excellence. The success of Ne Zha 2's casting cannot be separated from the excellence of the voice direction that guided these performances. Voice directors face the unique challenge of helping actors create performances that exist only in sound while ensuring those performances integrate seamlessly with the visual storytelling of animation. The film's voice directors worked with actors to develop performances that enhanced rather than competed with the stunning visual artistry of the animation. This required understanding how vocal performance interacts with visual storytelling and guiding actors to create characters that felt organic within the animated world. Technical mastery. Voice direction for Ne Zha 2 required technical mastery that went beyond traditional live-action direction. Directors needed to help actors understand how their performances would be integrated with complex visual effects, mythological action sequences, and emotional close-ups that demanded precise vocal timing and emotional accuracy. The film's technical achievements in voice direction are evident in the seamless integration of vocal performances with the visual spectacle. Characters feel grounded and emotionally authentic even during the most fantastical sequences, demonstrating the successful collaboration between voice directors, actors, and the animation team. Performance analysis. Character by character. Ne Zha, the heart of the story. The performance of Ne Zha across both language versions represents perhaps the most critical casting decision in the entire project. Yanting Lü 1/4 a middle. Ne Zha in the Chinese version and Crystal Li a middle. Crystal Li a middle. Ne Zha English version. Voice, in the English version faced the challenge of voicing a character who embodies contradictions, a child with divine power, a destroyer who seeks to protect, a mythological figure who experiences very human emotions. Lü 1/4 Yanting's return to the role brought emotional continuity that allowed audiences to immediately reconnect with the character they had loved in the original film. His performance in the sequel demonstrated growth that paralleled the character's development, showing how a voice actor can evolve with their character while maintaining the essential qualities that made the original performance successful. Crystal Li's English interpretation faced the additional challenge of creating a performance that honored Lü 1/4's original while functioning as a complete performance in its own right. Her success in creating Ne Zha that felt authentic to both the character and English-speaking audiences demonstrates the skill required for successful animated dubbing. Complexity in friendship. Mohane middle. Aobing returned to voice one of animation's most complex friend-rival relationships. Aobing's character requires vocal performance that can convey internal conflict, loyalty, jealousy, love, and often within the same scene. Han's performance balanced these competing emotions while maintaining the character's dignity and agency. The English version of Aobing required similar emotional complexity, and the casting choice reflected understanding that this character's relationships drive much of the film's emotional power. The success of both versions in maintaining the character's complexity while making his motivations clear to audiences demonstrates sophisticated voice acting and direction. Li Jing, paternal complexity. Chen Hao a middle. Li Jing, voice, faced the challenge of voicing a father figure who must balance love, fear, duty, and sacrifice. Li Jing's character represents the human perspective in a story filled with gods and demons, making his vocal performance crucial for grounding the fantastical elements in emotional reality. Chen's performance captured the weight of a father who must make impossible choices while maintaining the character's fundamental love and nobility. His vocal work provided emotional anchoring that allowed audiences to connect with the human stakes even during the most spectacular mythological sequences. The impact of ensemble acting creating a lived-in world. The success of Ne Zha 2's casting lies not just in individual performances but in how those performances work together to create a believable world. Ensemble voice acting for animation requires actors to create relationships and dynamics that exist purely through vocal interaction, without the benefit of physical performance or direct eye contact. The cast's success in creating believable relationships speaks to both individual skill and collective chemistry. Characters feel like they have genuine histories and connections, creating emotional investment that enhances every aspect of the storytelling. Supporting character excellence. While the main characters anchored the film, the supporting cast provided texture and depth that enriched the entire experience. Every character, regardless of screen time, felt fully realized and integral to the world, demonstrating the production's commitment to excellence at every level. The supporting performances in both language versions maintained consistent quality that enhanced rather than distracted from the main story. This consistency required casting directors who understood how each voice contributed to the overall tapestry of the film. Cultural bridge building through voice. Universal themes. Cultural specificity. The casting of Ne Zha succeeded in highlighting how universal themes can be expressed through culturally specific storytelling. The themes of family, friendship, sacrifice, and self-discovery resonate across cultures, but their expression through Chinese mythology required voice actors who could honor cultural specificity while accessing universal emotions. Both language versions succeeded in making these themes accessible while maintaining their cultural context. This balance required actors who understood that cultural authenticity enhances rather than limits universal appeal. Educational value. The success of the film's casting also served an educational function, introducing international audiences to Chinese mythology and values through compelling character portrayals. The voice actors became cultural ambassadors, helping audiences connect with unfamiliar concepts through familiar emotional experiences. This educational aspect required actors who understood their responsibility as cultural interpreters while maintaining their primary obligation to serve the story and entertain audiences. Technical innovation in voice recording. Advanced recording techniques. The production of Ne Zha employed advanced voice recording techniques that enhanced the integration of vocal performances with the sophisticated visual animation. These techniques required actors who could adapt their performances to new technological demands while maintaining emotional authenticity. The technical excellence of the voice recording contributed to the seamless viewing experience that made audiences forget they were watching an animated film. This seamlessness required precise collaboration between voice actors, directors, and technical teams. International coordination. Coordinating voice recording across multiple languages and international markets required sophisticated logistical management and artistic vision. The production team's success in maintaining quality across different versions while respecting the unique demands of each language demonstrates exceptional project management and artistic leadership. The business impact of casting excellence. Box office success. The film grossed $2.08 billion globally, most of the gross coming from China alone, becoming the highest-grossing animated film of all time and the first-ever animated film to gross $2 billion. This unprecedented financial success reflects many factors, but the quality of the voice acting played a crucial role in audience acceptance and word-of-mouth promotion. The casting choices contributed to the film's commercial success by creating characters that audiences wanted to spend time with and stories they wanted to share. The emotional connection fostered by excellent voice acting translated directly into box office success and cultural impact. Industry influence. The success of Ne Zha's casting approach has influenced how other productions approach international animation projects. The film demonstrated that careful attention to voice casting can bridge cultural gaps while maintaining artistic integrity, providing a model for future international collaborations. The financial and critical success of the film has elevated the profile of voice acting as a crucial element of animated filmmaking, potentially leading to increased investment and attention to this aspect of production in future projects. Awards and recognition. Critical acclaim. The voice acting in Ne Zha received widespread critical acclaim from both domestic and international reviewers. Critics praised the performances for their emotional depth, cultural authenticity, and technical excellence, recognizing voice acting as a crucial element of the film's success. This critical recognition helped establish voice acting as a legitimate and important aspect of cinematic art, potentially influencing award categories and industry recognition for voice actors in future projects. Industry awards. The film's voice acting excellence was recognized through various industry awards and nominations, highlighting the importance of this often overlooked aspect of filmmaking. These recognitions helped raise the profile of the voice actors and establish precedents for recognizing excellence in animated voice performance. Future implications: setting new standards. The casting excellence of Ne Zha has set new standards for voice acting in international animated productions. Future projects will be measured against the cultural sensitivity, artistic excellence, and commercial success achieved by this film's casting approach. These new standards potentially influence how productions approach casting for international markets, emphasizing the importance of cultural understanding alongside technical skill and commercial appeal. Cultural exchange. The success of the film's cross-cultural casting approach demonstrates the potential for animated films to serve as vehicles for cultural exchange and understanding. The careful balance achieved between cultural authenticity and international accessibility provides a model for future cross-cultural productions. This cultural exchange function of successful voice casting has implications beyond entertainment, potentially contributing to international understanding and appreciation of different cultural traditions and values. Conclusion: a masterclass in casting excellence. The casting of Ne Zha represents a masterclass in how voice acting can elevate animated storytelling while bridging cultural divides. From the returning Chinese cast members who brought beloved characters back to life, to the carefully selected English-language performers who made those characters accessible to global audiences, every casting decision served both artistic and cultural purposes. The film grossed $2.08 billion globally, most of the gross coming from China alone, becoming the highest-grossing animated film of all time and the first-ever animated film to gross $2 billion. This unprecedented success reflects many factors, but the excellence of the voice acting in both Chinese and English versions played a crucial role in creating the emotional connection that drove audiences to theaters and inspired them to recommend the film to others. The production's approach to casting demonstrates sophisticated understanding of how voice acting functions in animated storytelling. Rather than simply finding recognizable names or technically proficient performers, the casting directors sought actors who could embody characters, serve stories, and honor cultural traditions while creating entertainment that transcended cultural boundaries. The success of Michelle Yeoh's involvement in the overall English-language cast shows how international collaborations can enhance rather than diminish the cultural specificity that makes stories unique and valuable. The careful balance between cultural authenticity and international accessibility achieved by the voice cast provides a model for future international animated productions. The technical excellence demonstrated by both language versions, from the seamless integration of vocal performances with complex animation to the emotional authenticity maintained throughout fantastical sequences, establishes new standards for what animated voice acting can achieve when approached with proper care and artistic vision. Perhaps most importantly, the casting of Ne Zha demonstrates that excellence in voice acting serves not just entertainment purposes but cultural and educational ones as well. The performances helped international audiences connect with Chinese mythology and values while allowing domestic audiences to see their cultural traditions presented with dignity and artistry on a global stage. The film's success has implications far beyond its own commercial and artistic achievements. It establishes voice acting as a crucial element of animated filmmaking deserving of serious attention and investment. It demonstrates the potential for animated films to serve as vehicles for cultural exchange and understanding. It provides a model for how international collaborations can enhance rather than compromise artistic vision. As the animation industry continues to globalize and audiences seek authentic stories from diverse cultural perspectives, the casting excellence of Ne Zha provides both inspiration and practical guidance for future productions. The film proves that when voice acting is approached with proper care, cultural sensitivity, and artistic ambition, it can achieve results that satisfy both artistic and commercial goals while contributing to greater international understanding and appreciation. The legacy of Ne Zha's casting excellence will likely influence animated filmmaking for years to come, establishing new standards for cultural authenticity, artistic achievement, and international collaboration in voice acting. The film stands as testament to the power of excellent casting to elevate stories, bridge cultures, and create entertainment that resonates across linguistic and cultural boundaries while maintaining the specific cultural identity that makes stories unique and valuable. In an era where animated films increasingly serve global audiences while drawing from specific cultural traditions, Ne Zha 2's casting approach provides a roadmap for success that honors both cultural authenticity and international accessibility. The film's unprecedented success demonstrates that audiences hunger for stories that offer both spectacular entertainment and cultural depth, and that excellent voice acting remains one of the most effective ways to achieve both goals simultaneously. The casting of Ne Zha 2 will be remembered not just for its contribution to one film's success, but as a turning point in how the animation industry approaches voice acting for international productions. It established new possibilities for cultural exchange through entertainment while setting standards for artistic excellence that future productions will strive to match. In doing so, it honored both the ancient mythological traditions that inspired the story and the modern global audience that embraced it, creating a lasting impact that extends far beyond its remarkable box office success. Ne Zha 2, 2025, breaking box office records and redefining global animation. Introduction. Ne Zha 2, officially titled A Ring Superscript A Ring apostrophe A Diarisa Superscript 1 EC Sundala Yani, Superscript 1 Ash Micro Middle Dot, Ne Zha, The Devil Boy Conquers the Dragon King, stands as one of the most remarkable cinematic achievements in contemporary Chinese filmmaking. Released on January 29, 2025, coinciding with the first day of Chinese New Year, this animated fantasy action-adventure film has not only shattered numerous box office records but has also emerged as a cultural phenomenon that transcends geographical and linguistic boundaries. Directed and written by Jia, Ne Zha 2 serves as the direct sequel to the critically acclaimed and commercially successful Ne Zha, 2019. The film continues the story of the Chinese mythological character Ne Zha, drawing inspiration from Su Zonglin's 16th century novel Investiture of the Gods, Fangshan Yani, while incorporating significant modern adaptations that resonate with contemporary audiences. The film's unprecedented success is reflected in its staggering box office performance, grossing more than $2.2 billion worldwide against a production budget of $80 million. This extraordinary achievement has established Ne Zha 2 as the highest-grossing animated film of all time, the highest-grossing non-English language film, and the first animated film in cinematic history to cross the $2 billion mark. Furthermore, it ranks as the fifth highest-grossing film of all time and has become the highest-grossing film of 2025. Production development and pre-production. The journey of Ne Zha 2 began even before its predecessor had completed its theatrical run. Prior to the release of Ne Zha, 2019, Director Jia had already expressed the production team's intention to develop a sequel, contingent upon the first film's box office performance. The original Ne Zha proved to be a commercial triumph, and just 5 days after its release, the production team officially announced that a sequel was in development. The development phase of Ne Zha 2 was characterized by ambitious planning and unprecedented investment. The total production cost reached 600 million yuan. Effectively breaking the previous record of 200 million yuan set by Deep Sea, 2023, establishing it as China's most expensive animated film to date. This substantial investment reflected the production team's commitment to pushing the boundaries of Chinese animation and their confidence in the project's potential. The film benefited from significant institutional support, receiving backing from Sichuan province's funds for major cultural projects, which maintain an annual budget of 300 million yuan. This governmental support underscores the recognition of Ne Zha 2 as not merely a commercial venture but as a culturally significant project that could enhance China's soft power on the global stage. The creative development process involved extensive collaboration across the Chinese animation industry. More than 4,000 people across 138 animation companies participated in the creation of the film, representing more than double the 1,600 people involved in the first film. This massive collaborative effort demonstrates the film's scope and the industry-wide commitment to its success. Producer Liu Wenzhang revealed that the sequel contains 3 times the number of characters compared to its predecessor, with the film comprising more than 2,400 shots, including over 1,900 special effects shots. This represents a significant increase from the first film's 1,800+ shots, indicating the enhanced complexity and visual ambition of the sequel. Both Ne Zha films required 5 years each to produce, highlighting the meticulous attention to detail and the commitment to quality that characterizes these productions. This extended production timeline allowed for the refinement of storytelling elements, character development, and the integration of cutting-edge animation techniques. The character design process underwent significant upgrades from the original designs. For human characters, the animation team added a layer of white fur to their faces to achieve a more natural and realistic appearance. This technical innovation demonstrates the team's dedication to improving the visual quality and believability of their characters. Director Jiaozi emphasized his vision for incorporating elements of Chinese aesthetics into all characters within the film. The design of the character Deer Child exemplifies this approach, combining deer-related elements with clothing patterns inspired by traditional folk jade carving art. This attention to cultural detail reinforces the film's connection to Chinese artistic traditions. The design evolution of Bao Guang, the East Sea Dragon King, illustrates the production team's responsiveness to audience feedback. Initially planned to reference the fierce and brutish Prince Kang from the 1992 film Royal Tramp, the team ultimately decided to adopt a more mature image based on audience input. Bao Guang's costume, the dragon-scale armor, features traditional Chinese tattoo-style dragon patterns designed to convey heaviness and strength, aligning with his lofty image. The Lingzhu version as a character design pays homage to the 1979 Shanghai animation film studio animated feature Ne Zha Conquers the Dragon King, demonstrating respect for the character's cinematic heritage while bringing it into the contemporary context. The secondary characters, particularly the underwater demon beasts, drew inspiration from early Chinese depictions of mythical creatures. These designs incorporate features such as curved tusks, typical of Eastern monsters, differentiating them from Western monster imagery. To ensure uniqueness among the demon beasts, their skin blends various materials, including fish scales and the skin of elephants, crocodiles, and turtles. Filming. Unlike traditional live-action films, Ne Zha 2's filming process involved sophisticated animation production techniques rather than conventional cinematography. The animation process required coordination among multiple studios and teams, with each contributing specialized expertise to different aspects of the production. The film's animation style builds upon the foundation established by its predecessor while incorporating technological advances and artistic refinements developed over the intervening years. The production team utilized state-of-the-art animation software and rendering technologies to achieve the film's distinctive visual style. The complexity of the animation process is evident in the film's technical specifications. With over 2,400 shots and more than 1,900 special effects shots, the production required careful planning and execution to maintain consistency across the various contributing animation studios. Post-production. The post-production phase of Ne Zha 2 involved extensive work in areas including sound design, music integration, color grading, and final rendering. The film's post-production process was particularly complex due to the collaborative nature of the project, requiring careful coordination to ensure seamless integration of elements produced by different teams. A documentary titled B8 tilde superscript 1 P8 tilde squared B8 tilde superscript 1 L8 tilde negation, A diaresis sedilla C sedilla A diaresis sedilla C sedilla No Innovation Without Destruction, was released online on February 10, 2025, providing audiences with insights into the making of Ne Zha 2. This behind-the-scenes content offers valuable perspective on the challenges and innovations involved in the production process. Music. The musical score of Ne Zha 2 represents a sophisticated fusion of traditional Chinese musical elements with contemporary orchestral arrangements, composed by Wan Pinchu, Ru Yang, and Rock Chen. The score combines orchestra-style music recorded as the Vienna Synchron Stage in Vienna with traditional folk music from various regions across China. This multicultural approach to the film's musical composition reflects the production team's commitment to creating authentically Chinese work that also possesses universal appeal. The use of the prestigious Vienna Synchron Stage for orchestral recordings demonstrates the international scope of the production and the high production values maintained throughout the project. The score incorporates a diverse array of musical instruments and styles to enhance different scenes and character presentations. For the Thani Uanding slowly sinking sequence, the composers employed Mongol Yuvan throat singing, creating an otherworldly and mystical atmosphere appropriate to the scene's dramatic significance. The final battle sequence showcases the film's musical ambition through its combination of traditional Chinese suona instruments with full orchestral arrangements. This blending of Eastern and Western musical traditions creates a unique sonic landscape that supports the film's cross-cultural appeal while maintaining its distinctly Chinese identity. Additional instruments featured throughout the score include pipa, thumb piano, erhu, and various Baroque instruments and synthesizers. The incorporation of Tianjin folk art tunes and Peking opera gongs and drums further enriches the musical tapestry, creating an authentic representation of China's diverse musical heritage. The opening passage of the film adopts the grand song of the Dong ethnic group, which has been inscribed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List since 2009. This musical choice immediately establishes the film's cultural authenticity and its connection to China's rich traditional heritage. The performances provided by Ensemble Yue Change, consisting of 10 Dong women from Kai and Dongnan, Guizhou, ensuring authentic presentation of this traditional musical form. Released theatrical. The theatrical release strategy for Ne Zha was carefully planned to maximize both domestic and international impact. The film was officially announced on December 10, 2024, building anticipation among audiences who had been eagerly awaiting the sequel since the success of the original film. In mainland China, Ne Zha was released on January 29, 2025, strategically timed to coincide with the first day of Chinese New Year. This release timing proved to be highly advantageous, as it allowed the film to benefit from the holiday atmosphere and the traditional practice of families attending movies together during the Chinese New Year celebration. The Chinese release was comprehensive in terms of format availability, with the film being presented in 2D, 3D, IMAX, Synergy, CGS, Dolby Cinema, 4DX, and other premium formats. This wide range of viewing options ensured that audiences could experience the film in their preferred format while maximizing revenue potential across different price points. The international release strategy was carefully phased to build momentum across different markets. The film was released in Australia and New Zealand on February 13, 2025. Followed by limited releases in the United States and Canada on February 14. Hong Kong and Macau received the film on February 22, providing access to important Chinese-speaking markets outside of mainland China. Southeast Asian markets saw staggered releases ranging from March 6 in Singapore to March 21 in Indonesia, with Encore Films handling distribution in Singapore and co-distributing with Warner Bros. Pictures in other Southeast Asian territories. This distribution partnership with a major Hollywood studio demonstrates the international recognition of the film's commercial potential. European markets followed with the UK and Ireland opening on March 21, after previews on March 14. Distributed by Trinity Sign Asia. Additional European markets including France, Germany, Spain, Italy, Benelux, and Scandinavian territories were scheduled to follow, with Japan receiving the film on April 4. The Indian theatrical release was announced for April 25, handled by Encore Films and Warner Bros. Discovery India, expanding the film's reach into one of the world's largest movie markets. A significant development in the film's international release strategy occurred in July 2025. When A24 announced they would distribute the English-dubbed version in theaters starting August 22. This distribution deal with the prestigious American independent film distributor A24 represents a major validation of the film's artistic and commercial merit. The English dub features an impressive cast led by Michelle Yeoh's Lady Yin, alongside Crystal Lee, Griffin Puetu, Ailsla, Vincent Rodriguez III, Riggs, and William Ute. This high-profile voice casting demonstrates the significant investment in making the film accessible to English-speaking audiences. Home media. The home media release strategy for Ne Zha 2 followed a traditional windowing approach, with digital streaming preceding physical media availability. The film began streaming on Chinese online streaming platforms from August 2, 2025. Approximately 6 months after its initial theatrical release. A24's distribution of the English-dubbed version extended to premium video on demand (VOD) platforms, with the English dub becoming available on September 16, 2025. This VOD release strategy allowed international audiences who missed the theatrical run to experience the film at home while maintaining premium pricing. Reception. Box office. The box office performance of Ne Zha 2 represents one of the most extraordinary success stories in cinema history. The film's financial achievements have redefined expectations for animated films and non-Hollywood productions, establishing new benchmarks for commercial success. Within 3 days of its release in China, the film's box office reached 1.1 billion yuan, making it the first movie to reach 1 billion yuan, $137 million during the Chinese New Year period in 2025. This rapid accumulation of revenue demonstrated the immediate audience enthusiasm and strong word-of-mouth promotion. The film's momentum continued to accelerate, with box office receipts exceeding 2 billion yuan on the 4th day of release and surpassing 3 billion yuan by the 5th day. Most remarkably, the film exceeded 4 billion yuan on only its 6th day of release, breaking the record for the fastest film to reach 4 billion yuan previously set by Detective Chinatown 3 in 2021, which had required 9 days and 9 hours to achieve the same milestone. By the 8th day of release, the box office had exceeded 5 billion yuan, $684 million, breaking the record previously held by The Battle at Lake Changjin, which had taken 19 days and 9 hours to reach this milestone in 2021. This achievement also marked the point at which Ne Zha 2 surpassed the total box office of its predecessor, becoming the highest-grossing animated film in mainland China. The success of the Ne Zha film series reached another milestone when it became only the second film series to exceed 10 billion yuan, $1.37 billion. With just 2 movies. By the 9th day of release, the box office had exceeded 6 billion yuan, continuing its record-breaking trajectory. As of February 8, 2025, the box office had exceeded 7.2 billion yuan, securing first place during the Chinese New Year period while surpassing Wolf Warrior 2, 2017, and The Battle at Lake Changjin, 2021. To become the highest-grossing Chinese film of all time. The film achieved another historic milestone when its box office exceeded 7 billion yuan, $958 million, making it the 63rd film to cross this threshold worldwide and the first non-Hollywood film to do so. Additionally, it surpassed the single-territory box office record of $936.7 million set by Star Wars: The Force Awakens, 2015, accomplishing this feat just 11 days into its release. Ne Zha 2 became the highest-grossing animated film globally, surpassing Inside Out 2, 2024, in less than 3 weeks after its initial release. This achievement is particularly significant as it marks the first non-American, non-English language animated film to reach this milestone and only the second non-Disney animated film to achieve this status after Shrek 2, 2004. The film's most historic achievement came on March 9, 2025, when Ne Zha 2 passed the $2 billion mark, becoming the first animated film and the first non-American film to reach this extraordinary milestone, joining only 6 other films in the exclusive $2 billion club. The international box office performance, while modest compared to domestic results, still demonstrated significant success. At its Los Angeles premiere on February 12, Grauman's Chinese theater sold out tickets immediately upon release. The film grossed $7.2 million in its opening weekend in the United States, representing a six-fold improvement over its predecessor's $1.2 million opening weekend performance. In Singapore, where the film was released on March 6, it turned $300,000 Singapore dollars, $225,000 US dollars, on its first day. By the seventh day of release, the Singapore box office had surpassed $2.5 million Singapore dollars, $1.875 million US dollars, breaking records for both highest first day and total box office earnings for a Chinese film in Singapore. By March 29, the total Singapore box office had exceeded $6 million Singapore dollars, $4.5 million US dollars. However, the film's international performance remained heavily concentrated in markets with significant Chinese diaspora populations. As of March 6, 2025, less than 2% of ticket sales had come from outside mainland China, despite releases in multiple international markets. Review.1 A mayor Bill Hoteria da heist A tilde cubed ria da anima A tilde section A tilde pound o chiga os cinemas brasileiros M 2025, trazendo A tilde section A tilde pound o mitale tilde cubed jica e visualizador China acaba de cravar su nome no topo do mundo da anima A tilde section A tilde pound do, Ne Zha 2. Seque tilde superscriptancia dueclamada longa de 2019, distribuidavertidamente como mayor Bill Hoteria da heist A tilde cubed ria do Ga tilde superscripta nero e agora mira no P A tilde superscript obligo brasileiro, olan A tilde section aumento nacional estate A tilde inverted exclamation mark marcado para o segundo semestre de 2025 a com ca tilde cubed pias dobladas e legendadas dirigido por Gio. O film an A tilde pound o A tilde copyright apenas uma continua A tilde section A tilde pound do, A tilde copyright uma reinvn A tilde section A tilde pound do, Ne Zha volta A tilde estilos mais amadurecido, com domas novos, mas ainda de fianto desses eopra tilde cube prio destino, baseado na mythologia chinesa. O long de costura de A tilde section A tilde pound do e modernidade como acabamento visual digno de blockbuster hollywoodiano a mas como alma pra tilde cubed praia, a marca de $900 US dollars mile A tilde micro s recadados on A tilde pound o veio porcaso, o film conquiste platias pela pot A tilde superscriptancia narrativa e pela ousadia state A tilde copyright tica. Il avua in de tilde superscriptos tria global a filmatial herpera ok anima A tilde section A tilde pound o was A tilde inverted exclamation mark ticatem de mais valioso, identidade, Ne Zha 2 and A tilde pound o imita, and A tilde pound o tributes, and A tilde pound o sades capa, el interrogatudor do sujeto e funcina, por aqui. Estressor A tilde inverted exclamation mark coordinado por distribuidores independentes que pastam offer A tilde section A da cultura pop oriental para ocupros pa A tilde section OK OP A tilde superscript obligo brasileiro J A tilde inverted exclamation mark demonstrucura, however A tilde inverted exclamation mark também tilde copyright amses A tilde micro s speciais e bait popos sobre mythologia. Representativide do poder das narrativas fora do eixo I Europa. Review.2 Chengdu Coco Cartoon, Beijing and Light Media, Beijing and Light Pictures, Chengdu Zai Jingji Culture Media and Beijing Colorroom Technologies. Ne Zha 2, animation dubbed from the Mandarin film of the same name is the story of Ne Zha. It is the sequel to Ne Zha. After Ne Zha and Ao Bing are struck by heavenly lightning together, their physical bodies are destroyed. Master Tai Zenren exhausts his sacred lotus to regenerate their physical bodies. Ao Bing's father, Ao Guang, the Dragon King of the East Sea, orders an attack on Chentang Pass which Ao Bing defends. Exertion leads to disintegration of Ao Bing's body. Ao Guang now makes a ceasefire deal under which Ao Bing and Ne Zha will complete 3 trials to become immortal and win a potion which can restore the sacred lotus and create a new body for Ao Bing. The trials are set by Wu Lian, the immortal leader of the heavenly chant sect. Ne Zha and Daobing complete 2 trials. Before the 3rd trial, Ne Zha learns that his parents and all the other inhabitants of Chentang Pass have been annihilated. He now completes the 3rd trial without Daobing's help, defeating Shi Ji, a stone monster, becoming immortal and obtaining the potion. Soon, Ne Zha learns of Wu Liang's reality and sets out to destroy him and expose him. Based on Chinese novel Investiture of the Gods by Zhu Zonglin, the screenplay by Jiazi is confusing for the Indian audience. There are too many characters and too many tracks, which add to the confusion. However, the animation is so outstanding that it does quite often make up for the confusing drama. It would not be wrong to say that the animation is of the kind which the audience has never seen in the past. It's a veritable visual treat. Voice acting of the animated characters is outstanding. Jiazi's direction is lovely. Shi Kai-Akun's cinematography is extraordinary. Lin Kai-Ying's editing is crisp. Dubbing is wonderful. On the whole, Ne Zha 2 is like a typical Bollywood masala film, but its drama is very confusing. The Hindi dialogues are also often difficult to understand. On the other hand, its animation is of unprecedented quality and makes the film a visual treat. Notwithstanding the box office limitations of animation films in India, it would have done reasonable business, but the lack of face value for Indian audience and poor promotion will greatly tell on its box office business. Released on April 25, 2025 at Metro Inox, Daily 2 shows, and other cinemas of Bombay through Warner Brothers Pictures, India, private, limited, publicity opening, poor. A broken bar. Also released all over. Opening was weak everywhere. Review. 3 propelled by enthusiasm from fans domestically as well as overseas. Ne Zha 2, China's box office champion, has made history by surpassing Pixar's blockbuster Inside Out 2 to become the world's highest-grossing animated film of all time. As of Tuesday evening, 20 days after the movie's premiere on the first day of the Spring Festival holiday, which is the country's most lucrative box office season, Ne Zha 2 has earned 12.35 billion yuan, $1.69 billion. Including pre-sales and revenue from overseas markets such as North America and Australia. The movie has also risen to become the world's 8th highest-grossing film and is the sole non-Hollywood film on the top 10 list, according to industry trackers Mayon Pro and Beacon. As the sequel to the 2019 runaway hit Ne Zha, the movie continues to use a subverted way to narrate the legend of its titular character, a 3-year-old deity who rides on flaming wheels and wields a red ribbon to harness his superpowers. The film has garnered widespread acclaim for portraying the character as someone who bravely fights an unfair fate and pursues his own path. Widely regarded as representing the pinnacle of Chinese animation, the movie took 5 years to produce, and involved over 4,000 animators from 138 companies who created more than 1,900 visual effect shots. Lu Shengzhang, the former Dean of Communication University of China's Department of Animation and Comics, told China Daily that the film, loosely inspired by the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, classic Fengshen Yani, Investiture of the Gods, shows that the country's rich history and culture can serve as a gold mine to inspire further appealing movie stories. Avita Mai, a Chinese immigrant in Tawarangah, a city on New Zealand's North Island, told China Daily that she took her teenage son to watch the film, and that most of her neighbors and friends in the Chinese community have a sense of national pride. Some families see the film as a way to enhance youngsters' understanding of Chinese mythology and literature. Melina Weber, a German citizen who is living in Beijing, said that Ne Zha 2 was the only film she watched during the Spring Festival holiday, adding that she was impressed by the movie's presentation of Chinese culture in various ways, such as showcasing local food and beautiful landscapes. Review. For it is a moment that will be remembered in the history of the Chinese film industry. Animated film Ne Zha 2 topped 10 billion yuan, $1.4 billion, in the global box office as of 7:10 p.m. on Thursday, according to statistics from China's ticketing platform Mayan. Ranking above blockbusters like the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Black Panther, it has become the first Asian film to enter the top 20 club of global box office records. After scoring a big success at home, The film's overseas releases in multiple markets have earned it positive reviews from foreign audiences, contributing to the milestone moment. It shows the world's filmmakers the development of Chinese cinema, the support for Chinese films, and the deep cultural significance behind them, including the success of Eastern aesthetics. This is a monumental milestone for the Chinese film industry, Sun Jiashan, an associate researcher at the Central Academy of Culture and Tourism Administration, told the Global Times on Thursday. As of Thursday, Ne Zha 2 has also become the first film in Chinese cinema history to have over 200 million viewers. Statistics from China's ticketing platform Mayan showed global appeal. The number is still rising as the film was screened in front of overseas audiences around the world. On Thursday, it was officially released in countries including Australia and New Zealand. The film has been screened in over 116 theaters in these two countries, earning it the title of highest-grossing Chinese film in the region for advanced screenings over the past 20 years. According to overseas distributor CMC, the CMC also said that in North America, Ne Zha 2 has been scheduled in over 700 theaters, breaking the record for the largest opening theater count for a Chinese film distributed by a Chinese studio in the region in the past 20 years. C.L. Chadwick, an Australian student who watched Ne Zha 2 at the preview screenings in Adelaide, told the Global Times that he was pleasantly surprised by the quality of the Chinese animation, and the movie certainly challenged biases he may have held beforehand about its competitiveness. Animation and modern art are not areas that most Australians would associate with China, but I would strongly agree with that. Ne Zha 2 was on par with Western animation from both the technical and artistic standpoint, the Australian said. He is among many overseas viewers who love this Chinese animated film and who want to share and talk about it on various social media platforms, including Red Note. Numerous international movie fans have taken to it to engage with Chinese audiences, discussing the film's storytelling, spiritual depth, and stunning visual effects. Some foreign media outlets have hailed the film for redefining the heights of China's film industry, while several Hollywood producers, after viewing the movie, expressed interest in pursuing more collaborations with their Chinese counterparts. Striving for perfection. The Chinese Film Audience Satisfaction Survey by China Film Archive shows that the satisfaction score for Ne Zha 2 is 87.3 out of 100, making it the most satisfying film among the Spring Festival film season releases in the past 2 years. The number of characters in this film is 3 times that of the first installment released in 2019. There are nearly 2,000 special effects shots, exceeding the total number of shots in the first film, and a creative team consisting of over 4,000 people. The end credits feature nearly 140 Chinese animation companies. Behind the success of Ne Zha 2 lies the creative team's unwavering determination, as expressed by the line "I am the master of my own fate," from the movie's core character Ne Zha. Sun Jiashan added. The film's director Yang Yu, also known as Jiazi, revealed in an interview that he estimated that Ne Zha 2 might take about 3 years to finish. But as we got deeper into the work, we just couldn't stop. Everyone hoped to constantly strive for perfection and do their jobs to the best of their abilities, he said. While retaining the distinctiveness of mythology, Chinese animators like Jiazi endow it with a resonance of the times. They are breaking away from imitating Western films in terms of both aesthetics and narrative, achieving a cultural renaissance of Eastern aesthetics. In an interview with the Global Times, Zhang Yiwu, a professor at the Peking University, summarized it as the unique charm of traditional culture, the long-term accumulation of cultural context, and excellent contemporary transformation. In order to ensure the accuracy of the characters' images and the integrity of the picture details, director Jiazi personally acted out more than 70% of the scenes in the film. Furthermore, a rich variety of ethnic musical instruments and elements including grand songs of the Dong ethnic group, Suona horn, Kumai, and the ocarina-like Gsun were included in the film's soundtrack. Professor Zhang believes that the combination of traditional Chinese music and Chinese animated films has a strong chemical reaction. Cultural exchanges. The glowing market performances and high quality of Chinese films like Ne Zha 2 not only encourage the Chinese film industry and filmmakers, but also inject confidence into the global industry. Lai Li, a market analyst at Mayan Platform, believes that the film's market performance has significantly raised the ceiling of the single-film box office in the history of Chinese cinema, bringing great inspiration to Chinese filmmakers, especially Chinese animation creators. It also demonstrates the strong resilience and huge upward potential of the Chinese film market, and further boosts the confidence in Chinese national culture, he told the Global Times on Thursday. This enthusiasm is expected to further sweep across the globe, allowing the world to witness the outstanding strength of Chinese animation and experience the unique charm of Chinese traditional culture and Chinese films. He added, Ne Zha 2 earned 562 million yuan in IMAX box office revenue within just 15 days of its release, surpassing Avengers: Endgame to become the highest-grossing IMAX release ever in China. Daniel Manwaring, CEO of IMAX China, told the Global Times, "This offers audiences exactly what they are looking for, not just the experience of watching a movie, but the chance to engage in a true cultural event, one that is made possible through the combination of the experience and high-quality film content." Zhang Peng, a film researcher and associate professor at Nanjing Normal University, remarked that the breakthrough significance of Ne Zha 2 goes far beyond the impact of a single film, becoming a landmark case for the global export of Chinese culture. Speaking of the reasons for the warm response toward the film across the world, Zhang pointed out that by focusing on the narrative on the coming-of-age journey of a rebellious teenager and incorporating universal emotions such as family bonds and responsibility, the film lowers the cognitive barrier of its mythological background. In many ways, Ne Zha 2's impressive performance signifies the transition of Chinese cinema from being a market miracle to becoming a cultural export. The film has already provided the world with a window into the rise of China's film industry and its growing cultural soft power, said Zhang. Review. 5 We use cookies to tailor your experience and present relevant ads. By clicking accept, you agree that cookies can be placed per our privacy policy. Film broke Chinese box office records and marks a shift in the industry. Why do people love Yang Yu's folk tale? Will there be a Ne Zha 3? Since its release on January 29, the Chinese animated film Ne Zha 2 has shattered box office records. In just over 2 weeks, the blockbuster has surpassed $1.35 billion in ticket sales, making it not only the highest-grossing film in China, but also the 4th highest-grossing animated film of all time. Ne Zha 2 is now beginning to reach audiences outside mainland China. Its limited release starts in the United States on February 14. And it will soon hit Hong Kong cinemas. What is the film about, and what are the reasons behind its astonishing success? Here are 5 things you need to know about Ne Zha 2. 1. Who is Ne Zha? Ne Zha is a spunky, demonic child with superpowers first seen in the 2019 film Ne Zha. Mabel is a reporter on the culture desk. She graduated from Scripps College in Claremont, California with a Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies and Art. A bright-eyed kid at heart, she loves the feeling of discovering something new and finding underrated restaurants in her beloved home city of Hong Kong. Review. 6 The legend of Ne Zha has been retold through various Chinese literary classics, religious traditions, and cultural depictions for centuries. In recent years, 2 major animated films, the 2019's Ne Zha and 2025's Ne Zha 2, Deep Sea Ne Zha, have redefined how the character is portrayed, modernizing his story for a new generation, with groundbreaking animation, high-energy martial arts, and a reinterpretation of Chinese mythology. These films have not only dominated the Chinese box office but also gained international recognition. These movies blend traditional Chinese folklore with modern storytelling techniques, bringing fresh layers of complexity to the character and his world. Beyond their stunning visuals and action, they explore themes of fate, personal struggle, and redemption, making Ne Zha's story resonate with audiences both in China and abroad. This article will take a deep dive into the story, historical and literary origins, martial arts influences, and the cultural impact of these cinematic portrayals of Ne Zha. The 2019 animated film Ne Zha was a record-breaking success, reinterpreted Ne Zha's legend with a rebellious and misunderstood protagonist fighting against fate. The newly released 2025 sequel, Deep Sea Ne Zha, continues this theme, pushing animation to new artistic heights while further developing Ne Zha's journey of self-discovery. As of March 2025, Ne Zha 2, Deep Sea Ne Zha, has shattered multiple box office records, cementing itself as a landmark achievement in global cinema. This Chinese animated epic has not only become the highest-grossing film of all time in China, but it has also overtaken Pixar's Inside Out 2 to claim the title of the highest-grossing animated film worldwide. In doing so, Ne Zha 2 has made history as the first non-English language film to surpass $1 billion at the global box office and the first non-Hollywood production to crack the all-time top 10 highest-grossing films worldwide. In this reimagining, Ne Zha is not the chosen one but instead a victim of a cosmic accident. The primordial pearl, a celestial artifact meant to create a great hero, is split into two parts: the spirit pearl, which was destined to be reincarnated into a noble warrior; the demon pearl, filled with chaotic energy, mistakenly infused into Ne Zha before birth. Ne Zha, born into a village that fears him, struggles with isolation, anger, and his own destructive impulses. He eventually learns that he is destined to die in 3 years due to a celestial curse. Rather than succumbing to this fate, he chooses his own path, rejecting his demonic nature and embracing heroism. Alongside Ao Bing, the dragon prince born from the spirit pearl, Ne Zha challenges the heavens and fights against the rigid structures of predetermined destiny. His story becomes one of self-determination and overcoming prejudice, making the character deeply relatable beyond his mythological roots. In Deep Sea Ne Zha, the story delves deeper into the connections between Ne Zha, the dragons, and the heavens. This sequel features more cosmic-scale battles, exploring Ne Zha's evolution from a rebellious outcast to a celestial warrior. The animation takes inspiration from traditional Chinese inkwash paintings, blending them with cutting-edge CGI to create visually breathtaking action sequences. This film also introduces new divine and demonic beings, expanding the mythos and delving into themes of reincarnation, karma, and redemption. Ne Zha in Chinese history and literature. Ne Zha is a complex figure in Chinese mythology, appearing in several classical texts, each with varying interpretations of his origin and character. His story has been deeply embedded in Taoist and Buddhist traditions, often serving as a symbol of rebellion against fate and divine hierarchy. His first major appearance is in the 16th century novel Fengshen Yanni, Investiture of the Gods, one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese mythology. In this text, Ne Zha is the son of Li Jing, a military commander, and is born with supernatural strength. He slays a sea dragon prince, enraging the dragon kings of the 4 seas. To atone for this act, he sacrifices himself by flaying his own flesh and is later resurrected by Taoist master Tai Zhenren with a new lotus body. He returns as a warrior, riding flaming wheels, and fights against both earthly and celestial forces. In addition to his major role in Fengshen Yanni, Investiture of the Gods, Ne Zha also appears in Wu Chang'an's Journey to the West, one of the most famous and influential works of Chinese literature. While he plays a smaller role in this story compared to Fengshen Yanni, Ne Zha's powerful combat skills and divine status make him a significant presence. Ne Zha appears early in Journey to the West as a general in the service of the Jade Emperor, the ruler of the heavens. He is sent to subdue Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, after the rebellious monkey defies celestial authority and declares himself the great sage equal to heaven. Ne Zha engages Wukong in battle, demonstrating his martial prowess, but, despite his formidable skills, he is ultimately unable to defeat Wukong, who proves to be an exceptionally powerful opponent. Their duel becomes one of the many iconic confrontations in the novel. Although Ne Zha does not play a major recurring role throughout the journey of Tang Sanzang and his disciples, his presence in Journey to the West further cements his status as one of the great warriors of Chinese mythology, standing alongside celestial generals, deities, and legendary figures like Erlang Shen and Gananyu. Ne Zha is worshipped as a protective deity in Buddhism, Taoism, and Chinese folk religion. In Taoist tradition, he is associated with, in Buddhism, Ne Zha is sometimes linked to Skanda, a guardian of Buddhist teachings. This dual influence reinforces his status as a warrior who fights for righteousness while struggling with his own identity. Bing, Dragon Prince, traditionally a villain in Ne Zha's legend, Bing is reinterpreted in modern films as a tragic hero seeking redemption. Zhan, Ne Zha's Taoist master, portrayed humorously in the films, is an important Taoist immortal known for his alchemy and spiritual teachings. Shen Gongbaoyi, a celestial trickster who challenges the hierarchy of gods, representing the danger of ambition without wisdom. The action choreography in Ne Zha is deeply rooted in traditional Chinese martial arts, Wushu, while integrating fantasy elements to create spectacular fight sequences. Ne Zha's fire-tipped spear, C. Sundala A ring degrees C superscript A, inspired by traditional Chinese spear combat, combining thrusts, spins, and aerial attacks. Windfire wields, pound cc still a 1/2 registered, symbolic of Ne Zha's divine speed, used in aerial combat similar to Wing Chun's footwork techniques. Bing's water manipulation, blending internal energy control, Qi, with Taoist elemental combat, making him a formidable opponent. Ne Zha, 2025, became the highest-grossing animated film ever, breaking cultural, global, and cinematic records. It revolutionized Chinese animation, proving that domestic animated films could compete with Hollywood productions. Ne Zha 1 and 2 were widely released in the US and Europe, marking a turning point for Chinese animation on the world stage. Critics praised its emotional depth, humor, and martial arts choreography, bridging Eastern mythology with universal storytelling. In recent years, Ne Zha has experienced resurgence in Chinese cinema, appearing in multiple films that reimagine his character in both animated and live-action formats. Traditionally depicted as a rebellious warrior with divine powers, fire wields, and a spear, Ne Zha has long been a central figure in Chinese mythology. However, modern filmmakers have reinterpreted his story, making him a symbol of individualism, defiance against fate, and personal transformation. Unlike previous adaptations where Ne Zha is depicted as a solitary figure, creation of the God's Eye places him within a larger mythological conflict, fighting alongside other legendary warriors. In this film, Ne Zha retains his youthful yet fierce personality, showcasing his iconic windfire wheels and fire-tipped spear in stunningly choreographed battle sequences. His role is expanded within the larger political and supernatural struggles of ancient China, emphasizing his rebellious yet honorable nature. The film received critical acclaim for its faithful yet modernized adaptation of the mythology, impressive cinematography, and intense battle choreography. Given the success of the first COG film, Ne Zha is expected to appear in future installments of the trilogy. His journey will likely evolve further as the story progresses, continuing his legacy as a warrior who defies fate and fights for justice. In addition to creation of the God's Eye, Ne Zha has appeared in several recent animated adaptations that have reshaped how audiences view his legend. Ne Zha's Voyage Beyond, 2023, this whimsical adventure sees Ne Zha embarking on an epic journey across uncharted realms, introducing new allies and formidable foes, all while reaffirming his determination to forge his own path. Ne Zha and the Jade Warrior, 2022, a visually stunning tale that teams Ne Zha with an enigmatic new hero. This film balances thrilling action sequences with a heartwarming narrative of friendship and trust. New Gods, Ne Zha Reborn, 2021, a cyberpunk-inspired reimagining of Ne Zha. This film placed him in a futuristic setting, merging mythology with modern action storytelling. Bonus: Ne Zha's appearance in Black Myth: Wukong, the video game released in August 2024. Black Myth: Wukong achieved remarkable success, selling over 10 million copies within 3 days and surpassing 20 million units in its first month, making it one of the fastest-selling games in history. Developed by Game Science, this action RPG brings the world of Journey to the West to life with stunning visuals and Souls-like combat mechanics. While Ne Zha is not a central character in Black Myth: Wukong, he reportedly makes a brief but impactful appearance at the end of the game, hinting at a larger interconnected mythological universe. His presence suggests that future expansions, sequels, or additional content may further explore his character, allowing players to engage with one of China's most legendary warriors in a modern gaming format, with Creation of the Gods proving that live-action adaptations of Chinese mythology can achieve critical and commercial success, and the 2019 and 2025 global success of Ne Zha movies. Ne Zha's continued presence in future films is almost guaranteed, whether through traditional retellings, animated reimaginings, or modernized versions. His story continues to evolve, proving his timeless relevance in both Chinese culture and global storytelling. As the Creation of the Gods trilogy progresses, audiences can expect Ne Zha's character development to deepen, further solidifying his role as one of China's most enduring mythological heroes. The Ne Zha films have breathed new life into Chinese mythology, martial arts, and animation, reshaping the legend for modern audiences. More than just commercial successes, they have introduced Chinese cultural heritage to the global stage, proving that compelling storytelling transcends borders. By fusing historical roots, high-energy combat, and stunning animation, Ne Zha has become a cultural movement, setting a new standard for Chinese cinema. As audiences continue to embrace mythology-inspired storytelling, the legacy of Ne Zha is bound to influence future generations of filmmakers and animators worldwide. Review. 7 Ne Zha Demon Child Conquers the Sea is an animated film that has captivated audiences worldwide with its stunning visuals and compelling story. Beneath the surface, however, the movie is steeped in Chinese traditional cultural elements, particularly the philosophical concepts of yin-yang and the five elements, as well as the Chinese metaphysical theory of Baozi. The concept of yin and yang, dialectics in characters and destiny. Yin-yang, one of the fundamental concepts in ancient Chinese philosophy, represents the dual forces of the universe that are opposites yet complementary. In Ne Zha, the idea of yin-yang permeates the narrative, influencing the characters' traits and the progression of their destinies. Ne Zha and Ao Bing, the opposite forces of yin and yang. Ne Zha, born from a magical egg, embodies the yin force. He is naturally rebellious, impulsive, and often acts with extreme energy, characteristics traditionally associated with yin. However, this intense yin energy also provides Ne Zha with the strength to challenge and eventually transcend his fate. Ao Bing, in contrast, represents the yang force, symbolizing the reincarnation of the Dragon King's son. Ao Bing is calm, rational, and cultured, yet his yang energy makes him overly obedient to his family's wishes, often suppressing his own desires. Throughout the film, the interaction between yin and yang is evident. These forces are not static but transform, shift, and coexist. Ne Zha and Ao Bing's destinies are intertwined through this dynamic interplay of yin and yang, leading to their ultimate collaboration despite their contrasting nature. The five elements, how they define character traits and fate. The theory of the five elements, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, is another cornerstone of Chinese philosophy, each element representing certain qualities and principles. In Ne Zha, the characters' personalities and fates align with these five elements, adding another layer of depth to the story. Fire, Ne Zha's fiery temper and the threat of self-destruction. Ne Zha's character mirrors the qualities of fire. The fire element is often associated with strength, passion, and volatility, but also with the potential for self-destruction. Ne Zha's explosive personality and intense energy make him prone to rash actions and anger, often leading to chaos. However, this fire energy also drives him to resist his tragic fate, ultimately allowing him to rewrite his destiny. Water, Ao Bing's calmness and noble character. Ao Bing exemplifies the water element. Water represents adaptability, calmness, and wisdom, yet also signifies passivity and submission. Ao Bing is depicted as a calm and noble character who appears to be in control of his emotions and rational in his decisions. However, his adherence to the expectations of his family reflects the passive and yielding nature of water, which sometimes makes him seem weak and indecisive. Metal, Shen Gongbao's strength and ruthlessness. Shen Gongbao is a character who embodies the metal element. Metal symbolizes strength, persistence, and also harshness. In this film, Shen Gongbao's actions are calculated and ruthless, as he uses any means necessary to achieve his goals. His unyielding pursuit of power showcases Metal's attributes of endurance and the will to succeed, even through morally questionable paths. Wood, Master Li's benevolence and potential for growth. Master Li, who trains Ne Zha, reflects the qualities of wood. Wood represents growth, expansion, and nurturing, but it can also signify arrogance and unchecked expansion. Master Li is benevolent and wishes to help Ne Zha grow, but his personal flaws, especially his jealous and insecure nature, also hinder his ability to fully support Ne Zha in his growth. This duality in Master Li's character reveals the complexities of wood energy, where good intentions sometimes lead to destructive consequences. The interplay and transformation of yin-yang and the five elements. The interaction and transformation between yin-yang and the five elements are pivotal to understanding the changes in the characters' personalities and destinies. Each character's journey and transformation are deeply influenced by these philosophical concepts. Yin-yang transformation, turning points and character fates. Ne Zha and Dao Bing's character arcs exemplify the yin-yang transformation. Ne Zha's transition from a rebellious and destructive force to a more responsible and heroic figure represents yin transforming into yang. Conversely, Dao Bing evolves from being a passive, obedient character to someone who asserts his individuality, symbolizing yang transforming into yin. This shifting dynamic of yin and yang leads to a harmonious resolution, where the two characters cooperate and ultimately change their fates. 5 elements flow. The shifting nature of character traits. Shen Gongbao and Master Li's characters undergo transformations influenced by the 5 elements. Shen Gongbao's growth from a vengeful and power-hungry figure to a more reflective and remorseful one mirrors the transition of metal into water, where rigidity softens and yields to introspection. Master Li's change from a wise mentor to a more flawed and jealous figure reflects wood transforming into metal, a growth that eventually leads to a stagnation or corruption of the initial intention. Conclusion. Ne Zha is more than just an action-packed animated film. Through the lens of yin-yang and the 5 elements, the movie delves into the complex philosophies of fate, personality, and the balance of opposites. These concepts not only drive the plot but also provide deep insight into the characters' inner struggles and transformations. The film's portrayal of yin-yang and the 5 elements reminds us that life itself is full of opposing forces that can either conflict or complement each other. Just as the characters in Ne Zha undergo profound transformations, so too can we understand that our own lives are shaped by the ebb and flow of these forces. Review. 8 Ne Zha 2 is taking over the world of animated movies. The Chinese anime film was first released on January 29 in China, and debuted in the US, Canada, Australia and New Zealand on February 14. Following its debut, the movie has now become the highest-grossing animated film of all time, surpassing Disney/Pixar's Inside Out 2. While you may not have heard of the movie, we've got all the details and the trailer for Ne Zha 2 right here. The hit film is the follow-up to 2019 A Squared Ne Zha, which is based on the 16th century novel and vesture of the gods by Zhu Zonglin. After the success of the first movie, the sequel was greenlit and the budget increasing, becoming China's most expensive animated movie. Here's a synopsis for Ne Zha 2. After the heavenly lightning, although Ne Zha and Dao Bing survived by becoming spirits, they would soon dissipate completely. Tai plans to rebuild Ne Zha and Dao Bing's mortal bodies with the 7-colored precious lotus. However, during the process of reconstruction, numerous obstacles arise. What will become of the fate of Ne Zha and Dao Bing? Let's be in part of this laugh adventure. It also currently has a 99% popcornmeter audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, making it verified hot. In its first 11 days, Ne Zha 2 became the highest-grossing film in a single territory, passing Star Wars: The Force Awakens in North America. Review. 9 On the surface, Ne Zha 2, The Sea's Fury, 2025, the sequel to the 2019 Chinese blockbuster Ne Zha, Birth of the Demon Child, is a high-octane, action-packed and visually stunning animated spectacle, full of hilarious moments and thrilling fight scenes. But beneath all that, it's something much deeper, a bold reimagining of Chinese traditional mythology, cultural history and philosophies. Unlike Hollywood's classic hero's journey, Ne Zha 2 is rooted in Chinese thought, weaving together ideas from Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, Mohism, legalism and more. Through the story of a baby-faced warrior god who battles demons, it channels centuries of Chinese tradition into something refreshing, relevant and undeniably global. The film's success speaks for itself. Directed by Yang Yu, aka Zhao Z, Ne Zha 2 has shattered multiple global box office records, pulling in more than $1 billion in China in just 1 week. It has entered the top 10 highest-grossing films of all time, and has become the highest-grossing animated film, outperforming Inside Out 2, 2024. But what makes Ne Zha 2 so compelling beyond its visual spectacle? At its heart, it's an inspiring story about identity, free will, self-determination and rebellion, ideas that resonate far beyond China. A child hero forged in myth and philosophy. Ne Zha is a rebellious deity in traditional Chinese folklore, a boy born with immense superpower, who defies both divine and social expectations. Most people who know of Ne Zha will trace his legend back to Fangxian Yanni, or Investiture of the Gods, a Ming Dynasty novel that blends mythology with historical elements. Ne Zha's true origins, however, trace back to India. Ne Zha is a shortened transliteration of the Sanskrit Nalakavara, or Nalakabara, an Indian mythological figure who appears in Buddhist and Hindu mythology. As Buddhism spread to China during the Tang Dynasty, Ne Zha evolved from an intimidating guardian deity into the rebellious, fire-wielded warrior we know today. In Ne Zha 2, this fighting spirit against authority and hierarchy is taken even further, turning the story into a deeper philosophical exploration of morality, fate, self-worth and power. Good and evil. A Taoist perspective. One of the most thought-provoking aspects of Ne Zha 2 is how it challenges the idea of good and evil. In Taoist philosophy, evil and good, often known as yin and yang, are not absolute, but are rather shifting, interconnected forces. Through its two protagonists, the demon pill, Ne Zha, and his noble dragon prince body, spirit pearl, Bing, the film beautifully reflects this Taoist idea of balance and self-discovery. Their merging further blurs the line between hero and villain and brings to life a core concept from the 2,400-year-old text Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Ching, written around 400 BC by Chinese philosopher Lazy, also called Lao Tzu. Lazy emphasizes that righteousness and villainy aren't always what they seem. When the world knows beauty as beauty, there arises ugliness, he says. Those we assume to be noble may turn out to be dark inside, while those deemed evil might be fighting for what is right. Ne Zha's character in the film embodies this Taoist philosophy. Echoing the Zixin Jing, the scripture of Western ascension, he declares, "My fate is up to me, not the heaven." He is the demon child who is willing to die fighting for his own destiny, proving that even the smallest, most underestimated individual can change the world. Beyond family bonds, rebirth of Confucianism. In one scene, Ne Zha is struck by the heart-piercing curse, a brutal spell that covers his body in 10,000 thorns, causing unbearable pain and keeping him under control by targeting his heart. Ne Zha's human mother, Lady Yin, clings to him as his thorns pierce her skin, yet she refuses to let go. It's a moment of heartbreak, parental love and inner awakening. As his mother takes her final breath, in Ne Zha's grief, his body shatters into a million pieces, and then, he is reborn. This is the film's emotional climax, in which the so-called demon child awakens to copyright 10, benevolence, a core Confucian virtue. Confucianism teaches that true morality isn't imposed by rules but arises naturally from within. Ne Zha doesn't just seek revenge, he awakes to fight for those who have been oppressed, embracing his identity with unwavering resolve. But perhaps the most profound transformation comes from the Dragon Prince Bing. As the last hope of his people, burdened by centuries of expectation, he finally makes a choice, not for legacy, not for his ancestors, but for himself. In this moment, his once imposing father Dragon King releases his grip. Your path is yours to forge. The weight of tradition gives way to something new, reflecting a changing China where younger generations are defining their own paths. Wisdom of legalism and Mohism beyond Taoist and Confucian ideals. Ne Zha 2 also weaves in legalist reform and Mohist resistance. These philosophies challenge rigid hierarchies, or in Ne Zha's case, divine order, and advocate for collective justice. Across Ne Zha's three major trials and the climactic celestial demon war, a brutal truth emerges: those deemed unworthy, whether groundhogs, mystical beings, or ordinary humans, they are sacrificed to uphold the elite's rule. Take the small groundhogs, dressed in patched clothes, surviving on pumpkin porridge. They've never harmed anyone, yet they are mercilessly crushed in the name of celestial balance. Then there's Shiji Niangnian, or Lady Rock, a recluse who harms no one. She indulges only in her own beauty and speaks to her enchanted mirror. Yet the heavens brand her a demon, sealing her fate. A similar cruelty befalls the dragon clan and the people of Yanting, all caught in a war where they are mere pawns on a celestial chessboard. Even the last battle is not just Ne Zha's fight, but a battlefield showing the Chinese spirit of collectivism. Dragons, shrimp soldiers, crab generals, octopus warriors, humans and millions of goblins stand side by side to rewrite destiny. The celestial demon war itself plays out like a lesson in Sun Tzu's Art of War, which states that all warfare is based on deception. War is about strategy, resilience and the unstoppable will to rise. Ne Zha carries the weight of Eastern cultural essence: Taoist balance, Confucian ethics, Mohist resistance, legalist reform and the strategic wisdom of the art of war. It is a truly Chinese story, igniting next year's Oscar buzz and sparking a global awakening to Eastern culture. Review. 10 A poster of the animated film Ne Zha. Photo from the movie's official Weibo account. Chinese animated film Ne Zha has grossed 2.4 billion since it premiered on July 26, breaking mainland box office records. Beijing, August 5. Xinhua, Chinese animated film Ne Zha has grossed nearly 2.4 billion yuan, about $339 million on the Chinese mainland since it premiered on July 26. Data released by the China Movie Data Information Network on Monday showed it raked in more than 675 million yuan on August 3 to 4, contributing nearly 65% to the total box office revenue of the outgoing weekend, said the network. The full-length animated feature has established itself as the most popular animated film ever released on the Chinese mainland, according to the all-time China box office rankings compiled by the network. Telling the story of Ne Zha, a beloved Chinese mythical figure, the film features a daring overhaul of Ne Zha's appearance and depicts him more as a mischievous boy instead of the heroic youngster of previous cinematic works. The film has topped the Chinese mainland box office for 10 straight days. As of the release of this story, Ne Zha ranked third on the Chinese mainland box office list for 2019.